Hey class, in a previous unit we focused on how government intervenes in the economy using taxes. Well, in Unit 1.4b we will focus on government subsidies. So what is a subsidy? A subsidy is the amount of money paid by the government to the producers to lower the producer's cost of production. Governments extend subsidies to lower prices of essential goods, for example bread, in hope of increasing their consumption. The government also provides subsidies to guarantee the supply of products that the government thinks are necessary for the economy, such as oil or food. The government could also use subsidies to protect domestic industries supplying a lot of employment that would be lost otherwise, causing further economic and social problems, in theory. The government would also provide subsidies to enable producers to compete with overseas trade, thus protecting domestic industries. A subsidy has the opposite effect on the market than a tax, as you can see here in the model. Using the supply and demand model, let's discuss the impact that a subsidy will have on the market. Because the firms receive the subsidy in most cases, this increases the willingness and the ability of the firm to sell a greater amount of output at any given price due to diminishing opportunity cost of investment or diminishing opportunity cost of factors of production. However, if the firm depicted in the model wishes to sell Q2 amounts of the product in order to expand the revenue box, they will find that by doing so, a surplus of their product is created as quantity supplied will exceed quantity demand at PE. As a result, producers will be incentivized to lower the quantity available for sale while at the same time lowering the price, which incentivizes consumers to demand a greater quantity. This is shown with the quantity supplied declining from Q2 to Q1 as quantity demanded rises from QE to Q1. This means that a new market equilibrium has been achieved at P1 and Q1 due to the subsidy. In order to understand more deeply how the subsidy impacts the producer, we need to determine what the price of QS, or the quantity being subsidized, would be without the subsidy. To do this, we need to determine where QS intersects the original supply line to determine the price of QS without the subsidy. This in turn creates the subsidy box as you can see in the model. The prices consumers pay for the good goes down from PE to PC, as the price producers receive for the good rises from PE to PP. Therefore, to determine the value of the subsidy, just calculate the area of the box, PP minus PC multiplied by Q1. For this market, the black triangle represents deadweight loss. The deadweight loss represents the taxpayers who financed the subsidy yet do not receive any benefit from the subsidy. In other words, taxpayers who are neither producers or consumers in this market will benefit from the subsidy that their taxes finance. Subsidies aim to change the relative prices for consumers and producers. The subsidy is directly given to the producer so as to lower the opportunity cost of investment in the production of their product. The subsidy is used to help firms compete, to compete more specifically with international businesses, let's say China. There are numerous examples of subsidies like state benefits, free school meals like reduced lunches and free school meals, working tax credits. There's agricultural subsidies like the government heavily subsidizes cotton and corn and other things. Think about government expenditure for public transportation. This might be seen as public expenditure for even private transportation. This might be seen as subsidies as well. We have regional development, we have housing, employment, and education subsidies. We'll be talking about many of these in class. The subsidies tend to impact consumers and producer surplus by expanding them both. The subsidy will shift the supply curve to the right by the amount of the subsidy because it reduces the cost of production for the firm. The subsidy will cause the price to drop and the quantity demanded to increase. The price will not fall by the full amount of the subsidy. However, consumers get to buy more units at a lower price. The amount of the subsidy involves an opportunity cost to the government. The money must be taken away from other governmental projects, or it may raise taxes in the future in order to finance or make up the cost of the subsidy. All right, guys, we'll talk about these more in detail in class. We'll see you later.